Alright, so I am back and still with NGC 4565. This is a Spitzer Space Telescope image, so it's actually infrared instead of visible light, like Hubble is. I think Hubble technically also has a little bit of infrared and a little ultraviolet. But in any case, this is infrared. So I got a comment on the warp travel video, and well, yeah, it's from Frank Walder 3608. I'm kind of a fan of gates, he puts in quotes, which are artificial wormholes. You should share your thoughts on gates. Well, I already have the video recorded for wormholes and hyperspace, and why I don't like the idea of artificial wormholes and hyperspace. In case of hyperspace, it's you're going off. If you have a map, you want to go from here to here. With hyperspace, you're going off and moving and then coming back, and it's like, how are you getting off the map? Can we have that explanation? But we don't have one. And then with artificial wormholes, I was sticking more to like the how a real wormhole would work, and so the idea of making one like that, it's like no, because that would require like changing the topology of the universe, and I don't think we can do that. And I'm just not comfortable with my science fiction putting that in there, because like I don't think we could do that. I don't think I could explain it, so I'm not going to write it. Because to me, that is important enough for science fiction to do that. I guess if I ever do science fantasy, but different topic. But with gates, with the specific reference to gates, I started to think and realize, yeah, that actually is like another concept that kind of falls between artificial wormhole and hyperspace. So, for me personally, the most obvious reference to gates is Stargate, which I got my DVDs right there. I got DVDs whole 10 seasons. I think that's technically like a special collector's edition that I have even. It's really neat. I don't have Atlantis. I do want to get that at some point. I'll probably end up getting Universe, but yeah, not my biggest thing. And I do have Stargate on DVD as well, the movie down here. So I definitely do enjoy Stargate. But yeah, when I was thinking about it, it's like technically it does work differently enough that it's not exactly artificial wormholes. Like, as I've been thinking about it and watching, I'm in season 7 watching through Stargate History 1 at the moment. It is I really don't like them calling it a wormhole. It's not. It doesn't function like one. Because a true wormhole, if you watch that video, I do talk about how the simplest way I think to put it here, because I got the other video for it, is I can kind of. I'm just trying to think. Can I, with my hand, demonstrate this? No, I can't. Well, nah, I don't really have a good example. That I can do with the shape of my hand. I don't want to grab the silly putty again. But the idea with a wormhole is to give you a shorter path through normal space. Because yes, technically a true wormhole, you're still moving in normal space. It's just, instead of having to go this way, straight line, so shortest distance, instead of having to do that, you technically have a path that lets you go like that. That works out shorter. Just drawing it out like that doesn't quite work, but that is essentially the idea. That gives you an alternate, shorter path. So what they describe, however, for the gates in Stargate is it instead converts you into energy, transmits the signal through subspace. They do make reference to it being subspace. And then at the other gate, it converts you from energy back into mass. Okay. In a way, then, especially with that use of subspace, it's more like a very controlled example of hyperspace travel. Because when I say hyperspace, even in that video, I don't mean, well, hyperspace versus subspace. No, I just mean this idea of a separate kind of space that things can be sent through for one benefit or another. So for that, my use there, hyperspace and subspace are the same concept. So here, yeah, definitely with subspace there, because Stargate does have hyperspace and subspace. Star Trek also, well, no, Star Trek does have subspace. I don't remember if there's a reference to hyperspace. But it still is. You got subspace there. Anyhow. Now, that conversion to energy and such does mean this. We're not talking about a wormhole here, because you're definitely not moving through normal space. Also, they've got some weird, nonsensical rules there, like, oh yes, electromagnetic radiation can travel both directions through a wormhole. Matter can only go one way. It's like, okay, well, that further shows it's not a real wormhole. But electromagnetic radiation can go both ways. That's why we can use radios through them. But you can't see through them. And visible light is electromagnetic radiation. Yeah. Anyhow, but yeah, so these gates do bring it a bit closer to actually, like, as I said, a very controlled kind of hyperspace travel. And as I think about it, it's like that actually makes it more reasonable than traditional hyperspace. In that, with traditional hyperspace, you're just like opening up a window, going through it, and then exiting. It's like, how do you open up a window just in normal space? And then with exiting, how do you open up again? How do you also know how far you've traveled? I was like, there's various issues there. Whereas with the gate system, it's like, well, no. You open it up inside of this ring and you exit it outside of another ring, just somewhere else. I'm okay with that. I'm actually okay with that, because it gives, even though it might be very hand-wavy kind of science fiction, it still is no, there are specific rules here. As I was also saying with the electromagnetic radiation example, their rules don't always seem to be completely thought through, or seem to also vary from episode to episode. 10 seasons, over 200 episodes, that's going to happen, and I mean, yeah, it's just going to happen, so I can't hold that too much against them. But it still is, just generally speaking, yeah, that actually, I would be okay with that. I would be okay with that idea. I don't necessarily have an idea for a story that would use it, that would use gate-like travel, but the way it exists between wormholes and hyperspace makes it seemingly address weaknesses that I have with the two, issues I have with the two, that would make me not want to use it. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else, because I don't want to get too specific. If I start going down the rabbit hole of criticizing science fiction, well, specific elements of science fiction in other science fiction IPs, these videos will be even longer, and I will be ranting a lot more, and I could do it. It could even be fun to do it. I just don't know if anyone wants me to do it. But yeah, I just want to look through, because I did write up some notes. I'm just looking through them, but yeah, I mean, it's because of the devices at both ends, even if it is the hand-wavy science fiction, it still is, that does kind of solve some issues. They converted to energy, to being transmitted. I'm not the happiest with that, but that would be part of that hand-wavy stuff where it's like, oh, okay, because yeah, you can't really transmit mass easily, but I mean, technically, yeah, I'll grab it anyway. Technically, I just transmitted that mass. That is technically what I just did. But anyway, transmitting energy is a little simpler. A little more obvious, I guess I should say. Yeah, that's just, I do have one thing here where it's like the electromagnetic thing, where it's like, that doesn't actually make sense. Like, the Stargates would have to be very poorly designed for this thing that they actually do. More than once do they have that thing come up, but as I don't want to get into that. I'm just yeah, the only other thing that I really have here that I could talk about is you don't just have gates like this in Stargate. Stargate does have at both ends, but even in Star Trek you have like the Iconian gateways, which are in TNG and Deep Space Nine, but you also have the Guardian of Forever. The Iconian gates and Guardian of Forever both exist as gateways that they do in fact show you an image of where you will go. Oh wait, no. I take that back. Guardian of Forever doesn't. But he does like tell you. Oh wait, no, I take that back. You are able to see, because I don't remember the name of the episode, forgive me. In the one, Spock is able to monitor the time periods skipping by with the tricorder and then go through. So yes, there is apparently an image. I think they just weren't trying to insert that in the episode. I don't know. I only just got my copy of Stargate, the original series, and I will be watching through that, but Stargate first. And maybe some other stuff first as well. I've got lots of hour-long television to watch through. I'm happy, though. It's all good stuff. But you do have that. The issue, especially with the Iconian, though, is you go through that gateway and you just exit in normal space. That's it. There isn't a mechanism there. There isn't a other device that you're exiting out of like there is in Stargate. The Guardian of Forever, you go through and then like come back out. So it might actually be maintaining a certain continuity with you, such that it can pull you back when necessary. So maybe I'm okay with that. The Guardian of Forever also has some kind of sentience, so that one's touching enough also on fantasy that I'm okay with some of those things not making quite as much sense. But the Iconian Gateway, the fact that it just, boop, you're there. Yeah, I'm not exactly the happiest with that, because that's kind of now getting back into my issues with hyperspace. But the idea of, with Stargate, coming back to that, of, just like with hyperspace, I don't like the whole, I want to get from here to here, so I'll go over here, move, and then come back. At least with Stargate, it's yeah, you're doing that, but how you're getting from here to here is the Stargate. How you're getting from here to here is the Stargate. Whereas with hyperspace, how do you get from here to here? Well, don't ask. It's weird. It's complicated. That's all I got. I don't think I have more, and I don't want this video getting super long with me criticizing the science fiction, but if that's something I need to end up doing to keep videos coming out, or just what people want, I can do it. I got, as I said, I got Stargate there, I got Star Trek there. For television shows, I've got, so I keep having an eyelash in my eye. I got Star Trek movies there. I've got plenty of science fiction I could do that with, which might be fun. But yeah, I don't know if anyone would actually want that. So you can let me know, though. You can let me know. In any case, I'm going to keep rubbing my eye to try to get the eyelash out, and I shall see you next time.